Okay, Road Dogg, are you happy? Are you happy? Are you freaking happy? You didn't do very well on Battleground. I should have said it sucked, but you know me, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone knows me. I always try to look for the best things about wrestling. I'm not going to lie if it really super sucks. And for the most part, there were certain things of Battleground that wasn't bad. I said the Uso match with the New Day was good. Seeing the Fashion Popo was funny. And the Punjabi prison, the beginning and some of the middle was good until the ending. That's what we saw. The rest was a big mess. So when you look at this show today, this show was trying so hard to make up for that. And trying to build with SummerSlam on top of it, it felt like it fell so far from the mark. I gotta say it. Road Dogg, and I've seen Deluxe Man and the Slug Daddy of Off the Rope Show Centrals. I've seen their videos. And I do agree with them. When it comes to Road Dogg, he really is not a good writer. The guy who's his assistant writer who wrote last year as the main writer, I can't remember his name, I'm always bad with names. But he should be the one that should be writing. Road Dogg needs to become the secondary writer. Because they're making Smackdown look bad. So bad, it's ridiculous. Now, I'm going to go to the match that I usually wait until the end of my review, but I got to get it done now because every time when I think about it, I get enraged. Charlotte and Becky versus Tamina and Lana. Look, I'm not interested in Charlotte and Becky, not because they're bad, 100% bad wrestlers. They just don't have any character. They don't. And I'm not going to lie about Charlotte. Charlotte, as far as I'm concerned, along with Becky, I mean, they're not 100% bad wrestlers, but they're still green. And I do believe they were rushed. Every woman except for one woman from NXT was rushed, but at least succeeded, and that is Sasha Banks. I do believe Sasha is one of the best all-around wrestlers. She may not be the greatest of them all, but she's good enough that she can easily make a story work with good ring work, great storytelling, and basically can be to a point a ring general. But everyone else feels like they're completely under the mark. And then when you see this match, the only woman there that makes the most sense is Tamina. And I know a lot of people say, dude, she's a fucking jobber. Stop. I'm sure people are going to say that. I know no one said it in any of my comments, but I'm saying this truthfully. Tamina is a woman that should be pushed at least once to actually have the title. There have been women over the last 10 years who should have never got the freaking title and did. And they had it for more than a couple of months, and they can't wrestle, they can't act, and the only thing they had were tits and ass. Literally. So what is the difference between Tamina and those women? She's not very appealing physically then? She doesn't suck enough dick for most men there? She doesn't play games like most of the women? I don't know what it is. Only thing I know is that Tamina should have already been pushed and given the title once. Once. She should have already had the title. And that is the truth. So when you see this match, and you see Lana, who's another opportunity, I don't know what they're doing with. I don't know what Road Dogg is thinking. I don't. Because people want to cheer Lana. Or people want to say you can't wrestle. And when you come down to it, you're giving mixed signals when it comes to Lana. After the match is over, you see Tamina. I had to calm down because when you see Tamina's a lot like Naomi. She shows her emotion on her sleeve. I know a lot of people say, oh, please. No. Tamina is a very emotional person. She can be. She's had very little opportunity to show emotion because she's always been muscle for someone else. She's always had to be the strong, silent type. Very rarely has she spoken. And when you saw her pissed as hell at Lana, it just upsets me to see that Tamina's being used in this situation. Like this, to try and get Lana over, either with sympathy, so maybe they'll switch her into a face, and people will really begin to care about her, or, and this is what it really feels like, I think Road Dogg or the brass in the back next to him think, we need Lana to go back to working with Rusev. So we're going to give her the most shitty storyline with the most shitty matches, so she will get so tired of this, she's going to ask to go back to Rusev. because we promised her she was going to be allowed to wrestle. That's the way it looks. And it's like Tamina's stuck in this situation because she has to deal with Lana, where she knows 100% that the storyline she's getting sucks, and this just hurts her. Now, I could be 100% wrong, and I know a lot of people can have an opinion on this. I want to hear it. Tell me the reason why Tamina's garbage. And tell me why I should care more about Lana either becoming a sympathetic face and maybe winning over the crowd that way and becoming a wrestler, which I think would be the best chance she has, or they're just pissing her off to make her go back to Rusev in real life. That's how it feels. Aiden English and Mike Bennett versus the generic faces of Ty Dillinger and Sami Zayn. I feel sorry for Ty Dillinger. I do. Because Ty Dillinger has more potential than Sami Zayn at this moment. He has a better gimmick than Sami Zayn at this moment. He should be pushed more than Sami Zayn at this moment. And he's now been set at the same level as Sami Zayn because it looks like if I'm correct, I could be wrong, because of the way they won over Mike Bennett and Aiden English, and I have something about Aiden in a minute, and Mike, they could make them into a tag team. Now, you would say that might actually be good, but to be honest, Ty should be a singles competitor. And Sami Zayn should be a tag team competitor. He should be in a tag team, while Ty Dillinger should be a singles competitor. Because when you compare them with their skills, their personalities that's already been built, and the charisma to go with it, Ty's is better than Sami Zayn. So I'd rather see Ty Dillinger than Sami Zayn do something here. But this is what we got. Now look at Aiden English. It's not about the singing. That's getting me. It's about that he's trying to do the Phantom of the Opera stick. And I feel that actually because of his look, because he looks like he's from the 1920s, 1930s, he has that kind of old nostalgic look on him. That could actually work. Then you look at Mike Bennett and his wife, and I'm saying Bennett. I'm not saying Kanellis. I'm not saying it. I'm not. But when you look at Mike Bennett and Maria give off a face feel because they're doing something with love. Love. And they're trying to make their love a heel thing. I didn't say this earlier because I have been thinking about it for a while. Thinking about they're trying to make them lovey-dovey and they're willing to destroy everybody, but that makes them faces. Their love conquers all, as they say. And when you see the situation, you want to cheer for them because they love each other. They're just trying to have fun together. Sami Zayn keeps getting in the way of it. You want to boo Sami Zayn and you want to cheer the Bennetts. But then the WWE makes it that they want you to cheer for Sami Zayn and boo the Bennetts. This drives me crazy. I want to see the Bennetts cheered. I think they would be better off as faces and Sami Zayn as a heel. I've said this already. Turn Sami Zayn heel. Turn him heel. If he still has to come. If Sami Zayn still needs to have the same character, fine, but turn him heel. In fact, it will probably make better sense to turn him to an annoying heel. Kind of like The Miz was in 2006. He was annoying, and then he became a heel. An annoying heel is trying to act good. It can be good television. Turn his ass heel, WWE, please. But that's just me. Let's see what we got. I gotta get this over with. Jinder Mahal's segment. Okay. John Cena. Super Cena time. I wasn't going to make this the title. I was thinking of making that the title of this video. I thought of putting this at the end. But the way the show went, you can see the title. This is a joke. But in the end, I was going to go for Super Cena time. Because when you see this, it's sad. This is so sad. Let me see if I understand this. And please tell me below what you think. John Cena is about maybe 30 to 50% of the time there. Along with Brock Lesnar doing the same thing. And you have very few stars. what few stars you have are very inexperienced or very green, like the Shield and many other people. Then you have those who have been around for quite a long time and have bad development, bad character development, and maybe nearing retirement, like Mark Henry, Randy Orton. I didn't say that in my other video, but let's be honest, that's what it comes down to. The most senior wrestlers there, like Kane, Randy Orton, like The Big Show, like Mark Henry, many of the wrestlers that have been there for more than 10 years. They may stay around for about 4 or 5 more years, maybe, but they're nearing retirement. And you have buried the young talent. You have developed them terribly, and then you rush them on top of that. Many of them, they don't even have the personality away from their character to actually be able to handle things. And then you got a Jinder Mahal, or Heath Slater, or several other wrestlers. Yes, they've been jobbers, but these are the only people you can turn to for real. I say this truthfully, like if Andre sees this, I know he generally understands what I'm saying. For many of the wrestlers who have been in between 8 to 10 years, just shy of 10 years, you got them. Your younger talent's not ready, and your older talent's nearing the point of retirement or doing semi-work. The only ones you can really use are the ones that you already had that been well established. And instead of working with them, actually reconstructing their characters and really building them, you're willing to bury them for the older talent. Look at John Cena. I'm not saying that he did a great job in his promo segment. It wasn't bad. He did a decent job. So did Jinder. But when you really look at this situation, this is about burying the younger talent. This is about burying the talent that's been there, that has been jobbed out and never had the opportunity to do anything. Because once that little segment was over and then Daniel Bryan comes out, what happens? Shinsuke Nakamura versus John Cena. You're going to tell me you're going to throw Shinsuke Nakamura, a guy now who just defeated Baron Corbin, and if you're going to go by the way you normally do, there's supposed to be a freaking rubber match between the two to end this situation. Now you're going to throw him at John Cena knowing full well John is going to destroy him. A guy that is so freaking unique, just like Bray Wyatt. A Japanese wrestler who has actual very good size, who has a very good moveset, who, if he doesn't have the mouthpiece in his mouth, can talk well and is unique. And you're about to feed him to Super Cena. I know everybody, if they don't see what I'm seeing, please tell me the reason why this is going to be a good match. Because as it stands, I don't see how John Cena's work ethic and moveset is going to mesh well with Shinsuke Nakamura. And that kind of leaves me what happened to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin, a match that shouldn't be happening again. You should have never paired Shinsuke Nakamura with Baron Corbin. You shouldn't have done it. Yes, they're both strikers, but they shouldn't have been paired right now. The problem here is Shinsuke may have more experience than Baron, but Baron needs to work on being Money in the Bank champ. And Shinsuke Nakamura needs to work on going up the ladder, going to the US title. And instead of letting them pass by like boats in the night, you actually force them to work together. And it's like, is this a joke? Is this a joke that this company letting a writer who can't write for nothing, or at least realize what he's doing wrong, just paired two guys in a Shinsuke Nakamura, in a Baron Corbin, where both of them really needed to win and not have any problems or any controversy. You gave him a controversy at Battleground, and now you let Shinsuke Nakamura win over the Money in the Bank ladder match winner when there's no ladder match briefcase on the line. I would understand if the briefcase was on the line, like they did with Dolph Ziggler and Y2J about 3 years ago. No, wait, that was about his being allowed to stay. And oh yeah, wait a minute, it was about the contract and about letting him stay. He won, he get the contract. If he loses, he's out. But I could be wrong though. I'm kind of mixing things together because I'm so angry. But anyway, that's how this felt. Now, New Day gets beaten down by the Usos, which I think was the only thing about this show that worked, that I liked. Seeing that the Usos came out and destroyed the New Day as they came out with the titles shows they do not stand for garbage from the New Day. That makes their story more interesting. Now, as long as they don't get back into the ring and they talk some more and they fight some more, I know it'll be interesting going to SummerSlam because they can make this interesting. Let them feud without jumping into the ring in singles competition that takes away from their feud. Please, someone tell him. Tell Road Dogg not to do it. I've been saying his name so much and he's getting on my nerves now. Anyway, final match of the night. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. I'm pissed. A match that should be saved for SummerSlam. Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens coming out in the early parts of the show. AJ coming out. And then Chris Jericho coming out. And then they come up with a match because of Shane McMahon. What? This shows they knew. This shows they knew they screwed up on Sunday. That's why they threw a match that should be saved for SummerSlam. They throw it out now. Instead of letting Kevin Owens have a couple of weeks to build into the SummerSlam match. Instead of letting AJ have time to build into the SummerSlam match. And particularly, Y2J, people love him. People want to marry him. People want to have kids from him. People want to say, dude, how's Fonzie doing? They want Chris Jericho. And what did they do? They wasted him on a stupid match. And AJ wins back the title. I admit, if Y2J had won that title, it would have pissed me off even more. Because it's like they had Kevin Owens originally have it. Then they had AJ get it. Then Kevin Owens wins it back. And then they hand it over to Chris Jericho. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then it goes right back to AJ. It's bad. That wasn't a good decision. But guess what? It doesn't end there. The road just keeps going straight ahead. Because guess what? Kevin Owens says next week, I want my title rematch then. What? You're not going to wait until SummerSlam. Unless they do something screwy next week. You're not going to do anything with Chris Jericho now because he just seemed to disappear after it was all over. This was a waste. This was a joke of a show. I think I'd rather use that title than the one of This Is a Joke. This was a joke of a show. But this is just my point of view. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.